Hi guys, and welcome back to part 3 of making these jewelry boxes. The first part we were learning how to do paint pouring, and then the second part we were putting the boxes, like varnishing them and staining them and making paint pouring skins from our paint to use, and that was in part 2, and then putting them on the boxes. Now we're on to part 3, where we're going to be embellishing our trinket boxes or jewelry boxes, and with stencils. See the butterfly there to match the blue that is going on in the actual fluid painting art. And I used, let me get the stencil for you, and the stencil right here. This one I'm working on right now, and I'm starting out with a light color so that it stands out, and then I'll be adding more purples and golds in there as well with the butterflies and stuff. But I like to put a light base so we have somewhere to jump off of, and it will stand out from the rest of the art of the paint pouring, fluid paint pouring. So this is my mess at the moment. These are the stencils I'm working with. You can get them on Amazon. I'll make sure and link all my stuff below. But and then I have my other boxes that were in part 2 that we used the paint skins for, and we're going to carry on. And in this one, I'm going to show you how to do this. This is a decoupage art, believe it or not, a napkin. Pretty cool, eh? And then I'm going to add some birds and all kinds of things, but isn't that beautiful? And that's the top of a jewelry box. But I'll show you how to decoupage as well in this video. So stick around. Let's have some fun. I'm glad you're here. Okay guys, so we're going to do this one, and as I explained, I put the white down first, and I'm using these little sponges to dab gently. Don't put a ton of paint on there, don't go crazy, do it slow or else it'll just make a mess. And I've got my white base, and now I want to put in some of the purples and the golds that are in here. So what I've done, let me get rid of the stencil over here. Oh, yes, and speaking of stencil, make sure you adhere your stencil with the painter's tape, because it's easy to come off and it won't rip your project underneath this tape. It won't pull this tape off, or I mean this paint off. So make sure you put some tape on there to hold it in place, but make sure it's the right tape. Okay, so I have my sponges and my purples. Oh, and there's my kitty. I got my gold I want to put in. I've got, let's see what color is that. Majestic purple, and that one is African violet, and of course white. Okay, so I put the white, and it's dry now. So what I want to do is bring in another little bit of color with the lightest color next. Gold is going to be last because I'm going to use that as an accent. So I want to use this color next, and then this, and then that. We've already used the white. So I got my sponge here that I've already used on other things. I dab it into the paint, and then I dab it on to this paper towel, because you don't want a ton on there. You don't want it saturated. And just put a little in the middle to make sure that it's good, and then where you want it. This is totally your choice of how you want your design to be. And so you'll see the butterflies here and all that. I want to dab a little bit all the way around, just to add another dimension, another color. So we're going to gently and slowly move it around. I know I have it all taped down, but I don't know, feel better when I put a finger on my template to make sure it doesn't move on me. You know, we're not covering all the white, we're just adding another dimension to it. See? And that's all it takes, just a little bit. Okay? Now what we'll do is let that layer dry. We'll go in with some darker purple and do a little more concise edging, maybe little pieces and parts, and then the gold. So the first two were basically all over, and then the last two are going to be in more specific spots. And we'll be back. Okay, so our second coat of the lighter purple is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking, let's just move some of these aside. I'm going to use the same sponge because I'm only going to use part of it, and just dip the corner, see that? Corner in there. And this one is called Majestic Purple. Now I'm dabbing excess off because we don't want it super wet. Now we're using these as accents, so we don't want them everywhere. So we'll go around, put some here, wherever you feel you want it, right? Maybe on the butterfly wings on the outside. Make them darker on the outside. You know, just dab. And then when you need a little bit more, you come back. You dab it off. I like using the middle here because that's a like covered area, so it's not getting on your stencil at all. It's just the plastic part. And, you know, do some more. And just play with it. Make it your own. Okay? And I'll do the same thing with the gold. And I'll be back when we'll take this off and see what it looks like. Hi guys. Okay, so you can see I've had a little detail with a very fine brush. Like itty bitty fine. You can see that tip. To the butterfly, body and his antenna and all that. The gold. And then we did a flower here with that stencil and used the gold around it. This is the one we were doing together, so I figured we'd take the tape off together and see what we are left with now that it has dried and all the layers are done. Be very careful taking your tape off. I don't want to take any of the other stuff with it. Ooh. That turned out nice. Very good. Now, after this, we're going to do touch-up painting a little bit. And we're going to add some diamonds and some rhinestones, some crystals in, and some more embellishments. And I have some gold leafing that I'm going to be adding as well. So stay tuned. Okay, so here is the one stencil. After I've added a few with this little bitty paintbrush, a few details. There'll be more coming, but I'm going to let that dry now. This is the other butterfly. Added some detail there too from the original stencil, and I'm going to wash those and I could be able to use them again. And then on this one, the flower stencil is in the works. I have some crystals I want to put on it as well. But in the meantime, while we let this dry, how about I show you how I'm going to use these napkins and decoupage the top two of these boxes. I'll be right back. I've decoupaged this one napkin on here, and I'm now putting some birds on there with a stencil. But now I want to add to these final two lids, and these are the ones that we've varnished and stained and put velvet in. So these boxes are going to be trinket boxes or jewelry boxes. I have to forgive my cold. I still have a horrible cold, so my voice is funny. Now make sure you're pointing your boxes the right way. Like we took the hardware off, and so the two for the back, one for the front, so that you know which direction you're going in and which direction your picture will be in. And then I've got these napkins, just normal napkins. And then you take them apart, open them up, and I cut them in four. And then you have to take this very delicately. They're two sheets. Very delicately, because it's very thin. And then you're left with this thin version, and we do not need this. Usually I'll keep it and use it for wiping up paint and stuff, but so I got two of this kind of napkin. So I will have a spare when I'm going to use and a spare in case. And now I have this one, and I will separate the backing from this one, and then we'll have two for each, one to use and one as a backup just in case, and then we'll get on with decoupaging. For this, you're going to need some Mod Podge. You can have it in matte or gloss, doesn't really matter. Depends what finish you want. And then a foamy brush, paintbrush, and your napkins. And remember, we're doing this for fun. We're having fun with this. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. We're making gifts, and these are Christmas gifts, and we're making them with love for the family and friends. So let's do this. We're going to see if I had this one upside down so that I could get the rest of the Mod Podge out of it, because it's almost empty. And then we're going to add a nice thin layer to this part where we want to put the napkin, right? So this is where we're going to be putting or sticking the napkin to the paper. Nice thin layer. Now, you need to decide what part of the picture you want on your box. So, do you want the top part? Do you want the bottom part? Because part of it's going to be gone, and there's nothing you can do about that. But which part do you like the most? Time to decide. I went with this part. Now you'll see. Well, just lay it down really nice and gently on here and smooth it out with your fingers. Any bubbles? Gentle. Be gentle with this. Okay? And that's one box. We're going to move him over for a sec. Now we're going to add some more Mod Podge to this guy and do the exact same thing. Remember, always know which way your box lid is facing, because you got to know which one is the front and which is the back, because your picture will depend on it. And don't worry, Mod Podge dries clear, so you don't need to worry that it's going to somehow stay white. Now, second picture. What parts do we want? I think right there. Looks beautiful. Now remember, this is just yours. You don't have to worry about pleasing anybody or anything. you're making this for family or friends or yourself. Hey, you never know. Maybe someday you'll make it to sell. But in the meantime, enjoy yourself. Remember to be gentle and smooth that all down. Okay? Now that we have them on there, we're going to add another thin layer on top. Might have to open the new bottle. I think I do. It's not coming out anymore. Try to use up as much as I can. Don't want to waste. Put a little bit on there. Okay. And add a top layer. Gently. Gently. It's the word you're looking for. Okay. And then cover the entire thing. Both. I'll do this one and this one. And then we'll let them dry. And we'll come back after they're dry. Okay, so while we're waiting for the decoupage to dry, we carried on and we're doing some more stencils here. That's the previous stencil on the lid. And then on this one, added some water droplets. You see them? Because it makes me feel like this is a wave. And then this flower, and this is UV resin. And I put crystals around it. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with that one yet, but we're on our way. Okay, here's that update of the vines. Doing wonderful. And I have the butterfly one. The under the sea one is still a work in progress. And then, of course, this one, the water splashes. And then now we're working on birds. Okay, so now I am just playing these bit by bit as we go here so you can see what I'm doing. But I am actually painting with UV resin and mica powders to give my birds a dimension. Whoop, sorry, move that up. Give my birds a dimension. Look, dimensional. So I mixed the UV resin with the mica powder, and then I bring over the light and light it and cure it and go on to the next step. But you got to make sure and cover up so the UV doesn't harden the ones that are already not like in the pots, so because you're still using those. So make sure and cover it up so the UV light doesn't dry out those guys too. Hello guys. Okay, so today we're going to gild a few of the edges on the jewelry boxes I've been creating for Christmas presents. We're using this, and I did a tester one, and this is the way it's going to turn out. I know I'm kind of doing this in reverse because I wanted to test it first to see if I liked it to begin with. And I do. I think it'll look pretty. So what we have to do right now, since I put on the adhesive and put on the gold leaf, is seal this up. I will be showing you how to put on the adhesive and the gold leaf as well. Just a little in reverse at this point in time because I started this one, and we'll carry on. Okay, in this package comes the adhesive and the varnish, 2 brushes, and the gold leaf, which is super duper thin. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So thin. Here, I'll get you close. See if you can see just how tiny thin it is. There we go. See that? Just tiny, tiny. Very thin. So it takes patience and like a soft hand to put them on properly. Anyway, we're going to varnish this guy up. Okay, so I poured the varnish that came with them into my little cup here. Going to use a brush. I've already brushed off the extra flakes and stuff like that as much as I could, and then now we're going to seal it. There we go. It's really not too hard at all. I'm going to be setting it on top of this so that it sits like on top of this, so that it sits on top, so I don't have to put the bottom parts and get them stuck to things. It's actually very hard to see where you've put the varnish already because it's so nice and clear. Yes, I'm complaining about the varnish being clear. So try to cover it all. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be doing the top of the box as well. Okay, I'll do this last one when I'm done holding on to it. See if I can spin it around. There we go. Make sure we get all the sides. You don't want your hard work to go to waste, you know, considering you took all this time to do it right. And now is the time when you need to seal it up and make it pretty. There. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it here on top so that none of the sides touch anything, and then I don't chance ruining it. And then I'm going to carefully do the top. It's all a learning process, you know, what works, what doesn't work, you know. There. Figure we'll seal everything. There we go. And seal it all up. And let it go. Now here we are. We're going to let it dry, and I'll show you what we have when we're back. Okay guys, so now we're on to the gold foil, the gilding. And so what I've done is you take the adhesive that comes with the package and you brush it on to the edge that you want. And then you have to set a timer for 30 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in 30 minutes to put the gold foil on. Hi guys, I just wanted to share some little boxes that I have completed. See, we got the velvet on the inside and the outside. We're still waiting for the gold to set on the other big boxes, but these are the small boxes. What do you think? Is it pretty? I think they're pretty. And they'll be beautiful gifts for the people I love. Okay, guys. So it's been 30 minutes, and we've let the adhesive do its thing. In the meantime, I cut up the sheets into smaller sections, just for the fact that I am going to be putting them on thinner sections. So to save the hassle, might as well do it ahead of time, instead of trying to rip it off after. Okay, so here we go. Let's put one up here so I can show you how this is done. So this adhesive has been on for 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stand it up against something so you guys can see. Okay, now can you see how thin and delicate these gold foils are? Oh my goodness, they are. You can see my hand shaking. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look how thin. Look how thin. Just teeny tiny. Okay, so we're going to put it down on the adhesive as best you can. And just run your finger over it gently, gently. Okay, and then get another piece. And carry on. I know the minute it sticks to the adhesive, you're done. It's gone. But that's okay because like this is made to tear apart. You can take little pieces and put them on in the empty spots and just press them down. So it's not a crime or a sad fate if you miss a spot or something's happening. You can just go back and fill it in with little pieces. So don't get worried or upset if you don't get it on there perfectly, because that's a pretty strong feat to do. And then, like I said, press it down gently, 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 gently. And then we have a few little spots that we, like, that ripped or just didn't get covered or what have you. And so I have a spare little piece of foil that I use for filling in spots. There's a spot. Oop. Come back here. They're very light. And here's a spot. All right. Put that back down and save that for the next time. I might need some extra. And there we go. Taking off the extras because I only want it on the edge. There's a little spot right there. There we go. And whatever extra is on there, after you let it sit for 24 hours, the little extra pieces you can brush off gently with a brush. Okay? So, there you go. Now we're going to let that sit for 24 hours. Okay, guys, so here's the result of the decoupage. Now, prior to this, the video, we were doing the gold leaf. I know the videos are a little backwards there. I was showing you the results before the actual process, but I think you get the point. Anyway, these have been drying for days, and you can see the flowers on there. Right? Now what we're going to do is take your knife and trim off the extra carefully till you get an edge. Okay? And do that all the way around. And then you can decorate it any way you want. Like I was showing you earlier, these ones are complete. And these are the paint pouring ones. So, and this is decoupage, I showed you, and gold leafing. But what I intend to do with this one is much the same as this with the resin, the UV resin, colored resin. So what I'm going to do is, if you can see the little flowers in here, I'm going to make all of those pop in bright resin. So, and then varnish it. But in the meantime, this video has definitely run long. I appreciate it if you stuck around for the whole thing. I know it was quite the lesson in various crafts. Oh! And let's not break anything. Okay, so finals. I think we did good. I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely like, subscribe. Let me know what you're making in the comments. And in the meantime, I hope you're all being kind to each other and having a Merry Christmas. Bye, guys.